I just wanted to spend the next few minutes just talking around some issues that have been brought to my attention, and I have sought some advice from the office of Atlas Sistani. So, what the first thing is, a brother from the community, rightly so, highlighted something that um, upsets him or annoyed him, or and it relates to Salatul Jama'ah as well. So it's good to share with everybody, particularly when we get crowds like this in Salatul Jama'ah. So Salatul Jama'ah, as you all know, is shows the unity of the community, where all the things are, everybody goes to sujood at the same time, ruku' at the same time. So the choreography almost of the salah is almost part of the beauty of Salatul Jama'ah as well. Salatul Jama'ah requires connection, and the connection between Imam and Ma'mun is absolutely vital. One of the criteria of connection is Takbiratul Ihram. So when the Imam says Allahu Akbar, immediately the Ma'mun behind him has to say Takbiratul Ihram. If he chooses not to, then the people next to him, even if they said Takbiratul Ihram, they have not officially or correctly joined Salatul Jama'ah. Of course, Allah is all forgiving, and Allah will be lenient, will show leniency towards us, but we are missing the point of the discipline that Salatul Jama'ah tries to teach us. Sometimes we think that we have to give long niyat and intentions so that Allah knows that I'm standing in Leicester, in Masjid Al Husayn, LE5, whatever the rest of the postcode is, and I'm about to pray my Salatul Zohr, which is, by the way, oh Allah, 4 rak'at, and it is wajib on me now that I have a dari. Sometimes we think we have to give an essay to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tell him what I'm about to do. This is not the Allah that we believe in. Yeah, the Allah that we believe in knows already what I'm about to do. I don't have to say it. And so, just an etiquette of Salatul Jama'ah, if you forgive me for pointing it out, is, and a brother pointed this out, it was close to his heart, so I thought I might as well share it. It needs to be quite quick, almost like a palm tree. If you view a palm tree or dominoes falling, there needs to be a domino effect of Allahu Akbar, so that everybody can join Salatul Jama'ah as quickly as possible. Because um, inshallah, maybe next time, one of the important parts, a rukn of salah, is Surah Al-Hamd. Surah Al-Hamd is important. So if somebody at the back, for example, doesn't join till Imam reaches halfway through the Hamd, he has to recite the parts that he has missed out. So inshallah, that's number one. If you have appetite for more, I could go for more. Yes, one more inshallah, or maybe a few more inshallah, depending on time. So one of the questions that was asked by the ladies and some of the management committees is this separation that we have between men and women in our, particularly relevant to our community. So different ulama have come over the months and over the years, and everybody would give us a different version of how big the gap should be and what have you. So it goes back to the first question, which is the connection between Imam and Ma'mun. There has to be no obstruction between that. So for example, if there was a glass wall here, or a concrete wall, or a wooden wall, then there is no connection between the Imam and the Ma'mun. Okay? And that applies only when the Imam is a male and the Ma'mum is a male, or the Imam is a female and the Ma'mumin are females. There cannot be a divider between the Imam and the Ma'mun, an obstruction between the Imam and the Ma'mun. What happens afterwards? So for example, after 2-3 rows, let's say there is a child, and the child decides to go and play football outside and leaves a gap in Salah. These are different matters, inshallah, for some other time. But for as long as almost same sex Salatul Jama'ah, there cannot be an obstruction between Imam and Ma'mun. However, there is an exception. When in this example, in this instance, for example, we have the mu'mineen on this side and the mu'minat on that side. Because the room is directly adjoining the salah room, then there is no problem of a barrier being there, even if this barrier was concrete. So leaving a gap, not leaving a gap, how big the gap should be is immaterial in this instance, because Allah Sistani gives an exception when there is a different sex of the opposite side. So if in this instance the males recite on this side, our female mu'minat recite on that side, and there is no issue at all, according to Atlas Sistani, with regards to a barrier being between the two. So inshallah, from that point of view, because some mu'minat were worried that they have stopped praying Salatul Jama'ah because they believe there's no connection. But alhamdulillah, inshallah, that clarifies it. Two more very quick ones, inshallah, again relating to Salatul Jama'ah. So a question that comes to mind, and let's relate this to the first khutbah as well. Adhan can be recited by anyone, yes? When we're standing up for Salatul Jama'ah. I can see all of you are almost dozing off, so I need some response back. Adhan can be recited by anybody? Yes? Iqama can be recited by anybody? No? Okay, so there is an opinion that says that only Imam of Jama'ah should give the response or should give the instructions of qad qamat as-salah. Pretty much, and the theology or the mentality or the thinking behind that is the Imam of the time is the only one who could give um, for example, the call towards jihad. So it's a very similar because this is jihad al-asghar and that is jihad al-akbar. So that is the mentality, yes? That is our opinion. Remember Abu Hanifa? Yeah, our opinion is because Imam is the only one who could give call for jihad, therefore in jihad al-asghar, only the Imam of Jama'ah could give the call for qad qamat as-salah. Again, I asked the question and the response was no. Anybody could give iqama for Salatul Jama'ah as well. Now we have culturally we normally allow the Imam al Jama'ah to give iqamah, which is not a problem, and it's out a sign of respect, but it doesn't have to be. And the final point is again, some mu'mineen had a problem with regards to Allahu Akbar and Sami Allahu liman hamida and all these being recited while in a state of movement. So istiqrar and sukoon is a vital part of salah. Yeah, so much so that the shara or the sharia allows us to delay salah a little bit if it means we can reach a level of istiqrar. So for example, if you're traveling in a ship and the ship is going through turbulence, or an airplane and the airplane is going through turbulence, then and it's just the time of salah, it is wajib on you to stand up and give salah. But if by delaying it a little bit the turbulence calms down, then it's better for you to allow the turbulence to calm down, then you're able to pray salah in istiqrar and sukoon with tranquility. Here, this is again the justification that we give, that when we go from one sujood to the other, we should not be in while moving, we should not say Allahu Akbar. Same again for ruku', Allahu Akbar. We go to ruku', and while standing up, we shouldn't say Sami Allahu liman hamida. We should stand up, be in a state of sukoon and istiqrar, then say Sami Allahu liman hamida, Allahu Akbar, and we go forward. Again, it's not a necessary part of salah because all these adhkar are mustahabbat. Apart from takbiratul ihram, which is a rukn. Inshallah, some other time we will discuss the arkan of salah and the difference between arkan and the mustahabbat in salah. So, inshallah, there's no harm. So, if you notice somebody like me, for example, sometimes we forget and while taking the head off sujood, we say Allahu Akbar while in a state of movement. It's not a problem, inshallah, because these are mustahab adhkar and they are not rukn of salah. All clear? Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Inna ahsan al-hadith wa ablagh al-maw'idha kitabullah.